Hi, if you're new here, I'm Heather. I'm a therapist and I work a lot with parents in the postpartum season. And I'm also a mom myself. And honestly, a lot of what I talk about comes straight out of the same questions that I hear over and over again in my sessions with new parents. One of the biggest ones is some version of, is this normal or should I be worried? Usually people are talking about how emotional they feel after having a baby because nobody really prepares you for how emotional postpartum can actually be. Not just tired, emotional in a way that feels almost unfamiliar, crying out of nowhere, feeling shaky or tender, feeling flooded and flat all at the same time, feeling love and grief sitting right next to each other. And for a lot of people, especially those in that first couple of weeks, that actually is a pretty common experience. Your hormones drop fast, your sleep is completely obliterated, your body's healing, your entire sense of self has just shifted. So feeling weepy, overwhelmed, or a little off balance doesn't automatically mean that something is wrong. What gets tricky is that the line between this is part of the adjustment and this is starting to take over my life isn't always obvious when you're inside it, because it's not usually dramatic. It's pretty subtle. It's waking up every single day feeling heavy instead of feeling gradually lighter. It's that anxiety that doesn't really shut off, even when nothing specific is actually happening. It's going through the motions and realizing you feel kind of numb. It's functioning, like feeding the baby, answering texts, but feeling like you're barely holding it together internally. A lot of new parents tell me, I thought it would pass, and then it just didn't. And that's often the point where people start to wonder if they're just not cut out for this, or if they're weak, or if they're somehow failing at something that everybody seems to do much more easily than them. They start to question, am I a good mom, even when they're only a couple of weeks in? But postpartum mental health struggles don't show up because somebody else is doing motherhood better than you are. And the hint to remember is that they're usually not. They show up when your nervous system has been under too much strain for too long without enough support. If you notice that weeks are going by and you're not feeling more like yourself, if that sadness or anxiety feels constant rather than situational, if reassurance doesn't help or rest doesn't touch it, if your thoughts start to feel intrusive, scary, or hard to shut off, that's not something to push through quietly. And I think that this is where so many parents get stuck because they assume that support is only for when things are falling apart. Like you have to earn help by suffering enough first. But a lot of the work that I do with postpartum parents isn't about crisis. It's about having space to say, this is harder than I thought it would be, without being told to be grateful. It's about understanding what's happening in your body and your mind and having somebody help you make sense of it gently. So if you're in that early postpartum window and you're wondering whether what you're feeling is normal, or if you're further out and realizing that things never really eased the way that you thought they would, that's worth paying attention to. You don't need a perfect label as a new mom or a new dad. You don't need to hit a breaking point to deserve help. You just need to know that support does exist, that you're allowed to reach for it sooner than you think, and that it doesn't have to feel this way. You don't have a badge of honor by doing it all on your own all the time. So if you're thinking that support would be helpful, don't wait.